Hello there, part-timers. Welcome to the collection room. Once again, I'm taking a look at some comics. This is a big comic haul. Came in a big weird box. They actually chopped down a short box, which I thought was really a bizarre packaging way. But they sent me these. Now, in the history of my comic collecting, there's a handful of series that in the late 90s and in the mid 90s, when I started collecting big time, I would hit quarter bins and I would build a complete run of comics out of quarter bins. I did it with Alpha Flight, was the first series that I ever did, and that was 130 issues all out of quarter bins. It was amazing. But the next run I did that with was Guardians of the Galaxy. I kind of built them at the same time, but I was actually able to complete Alpha Flight long before I could complete Guardians. And even though I have replenished, I have sold my lot of Alpha Flights twice now, and now I'm on my third set. Guardians, the first time I sold it was probably, 1999, 2000, something like that. And I never was able to reacquire the series again. And of course, that's become much more difficult because the movies came out. There's a lot more hype around Guardians of the Galaxy, even though these Guardians are nothing like the silly movies. So this is Guardians of the Galaxy. I've got the complete set, the complete run, 1 through 62, and all of the annuals. I am super thrilled with this. I loved this series. I absolutely love this series. But this takes place in the year 3000. There is no similarities. I think the only character that exists in these was Yondu, and this is volume 1. So this is the Guardians. So you've got a different cast, you've got a different group of heroes. And of course, the thing that I loved about this the most, because it was in the year 3000, you had a lot of room to work. This story wasn't going to interact and get twisted with another story. I think it did like 1 or 2 crossovers in the whole time that it ran. But you never had to worry about it messing with the continuity of other books as well. So these characters could die, travel, move on, you know. There wasn't always a return to zero. You didn't know what was going to happen. Quest for the Shield, one of my absolute favorite story arcs. So that was a big bonus with this series, was not being confined to the modern Marvel universe. It gave it room to explore that not every title would have been able to. Issue number 9. The other beauty part of this being a distant future book is that you get a lot of descendants or remanifestations, which I absolutely love. Like, here's the guy who's the current Phoenix, you know. There was a few where, oh yeah, I love these guys, the Stark. They actually base their entire culture on Tony Stark, Iron Man material and armor. You've got your Ghost Rider of the future. Of course, he's an alien, you know. You just got a little different stuff going on. I thought it was totally fascinating. But then you still got throwback artifacts like Captain America's shield. Wolverine's skeleton is still floating around somewhere. Thor's hammer is still out there. The Eye of Agamotto is out there. In fact, the new Sorcerer Supreme is like a weird snake thing, if I remember right. This was the first issue I ever found. It's great. But you get callbacks like the Punishers, an entire like army of Frank Castle-minded mercenary types on a planet. Made for some great issues and storytelling. The other thing, of course, Vance Astro, you got him running around with the actual shield of Captain America, a symbol of liberty, even in a distant future. I was always mesmerized by the character Starhawk, because they always called him the one who knows, and you eventually figure out he knows just because he has lived that life, this section of years, this lifespan, over and over and over again. And so he knows within relative reason what's going to happen when. Silver Surfer. Of course, Galactus still exists, and I got a chrome version of it, which is fantastic. Issue 27. Most of these are direct editions. I don't care. And they all came in really trashy bags. So I immediately peeled all the thick, plasticky, faded out, scratched up bags off, just to get to the heart of them. But yeah, so like Starhawk, you find out he just lives over and over again, which I always thought was fascinating. So if anything happens with the timeline, or anything changes, he's aware, which I thought was interesting. Charlie 27, the big dude there, he's just massive because I think he's from Jupiter and the gravity's really heavy. So like that's the way he was born. Alita shares the same time space as Starhawk, so they switch out, and they're married but they hate each other. We got Wasp coming from a different time zone. There's a few characters that are still around. Hollywood here is just Power Man. Like, he's still kicking. He's still around. Firelord is, of course, still around. They never, they kind of beat around the bush on it, but it's so obvious that it's Wonder Man. It always kind of cracked me up. It's like, did you ever give an explanation to why he's still alive? There's your Sorcerer Supreme. He's like a weird snake thing. Dormammu is still alive in this vast future time. I want to say the Beyonder is still wandering around, but I'm not positive. You run into some old descendants. You get like Wolverine's great granddaughter and stuff like that. And of course, there's Wolverine Skeleton, still alive, mechanized, and an awesome chrome cover. What is that? Issue 40. Of course, Loki being immortal, he's still around. Pretty sure Thor is still around. And you run into a lot of different alien nationalities. I want to say like the Badoon is a frequent one that they cross paths with. Original Yondu, who's just really sad and spends a long time just looking for a mate because he's supposedly the last one. There's Starhawk and Alita, whatever, duking it out. Major Victory. Of course, one of the original leaders, Martin X. I think he's only in like the first 5 or 6 issues, and then he resigns. But it's crazy because it's like he's totally like their leader, and then like he's not. I just thought it was weird. You don't usually see cast change outs like that for no reason. Nikki, the gal with the fire hair, she's from Mercury. Some of these covers, I forget how neat and gimmicky they were. Apparently Hercules is still bouncing around. But I don't know. I'm so excited to read these because I read them years ago. It's probably been 2000, right? 2000, yeah, at the latest. Would have been more like maybe 99, 89, 98, 99, somewhere in there. Probably went the last time I would have read these. But I thoroughly enjoyed them. Spider-Man's old suit. There's such reverence in these books to the old original Marvel characters that you see constantly and nobody cares about. And it's like, well, in the distant future, these people are revered as like almost gods. It's neat. I like how they respect their future or their past heroes. But I got a pretty, what I think is a pretty good deal on these. Maybe not everybody would think it's a great deal. For paying 25 cents an issue the first time around, I had to pay a little more than that for these. These came out to about $2 an issue, which for the complete series saved me all the tracking it down. And from what I'm seeing, that's not bad at all. And you know, a good chunk of that was shipping, so I think the entirety of the series was only about $100. Actually, the bid I threw on was exactly $100, and then there was like another 20 or so for shipping and tax. But I just couldn't see letting them go and not getting them. The annuals, which of course you got to have the annuals. So I got a few issues of this floating around, and all of these are going to be duplicates. And I have decided to start slipping all of my duplicates in a box just to give to my kid someday. Just classic era Marvel stuff that he'll never be able to find probably in the modern day era. But yeah, I thought, you know what? I could leave them in my collection. I could sell them for extra or whatever. But I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna set them aside. Maybe Alistair would like them someday. If not, maybe one of my other kids that I haven't had yet will. Anyway, these are not amazing comics by any means. They're not valuable. They will probably never be valuable, and I don't care. I buy these because I like them and I want to collect them. They're a piece of my history as far as what I like, what I acquired, what I sought, what I hunted for years. They're going to hold more meaning to me than that, than some grail issue of something. So remember to collect what you like. Collect what you like. Not for money, not for anything else. Just collect what you like. And what more can I say than that? Probably nothing. Anyway, thank you, part-timers. I will catch you later. Enjoy collecting. We'll see you around.